This is the 147th episode of CloudFocus Weekly for the second week of August, 2013. This episode is titled...
What was that?
Going Native. That's me doing
Did you just go native?
I just went native.
All right.
CloudFocus Weekly is sponsored by Arkus, your cloud computing experts. I'm your host, Jason Atwood. And joining me, next to that crazy, crazy sound, which I wonder if they can even hear those sounds.
I don't know.
The sounds of our office.
Well, if you can hear them, let us know.
Let us know.
What office? This is the studio.
All right, Justin Elsing. Justin, how are you doing?
I'm doing good today in the studio.
It's, by the way, not soundproof studio.
No, we don't have any of that foam stuff on the walls either.
No, so any noises you hear, this is called working in an office in New York City, and you're always going to hear noises.
Yeah. We should have like an on-air sign, though.
Well, we do lock the door.
Yeah, we do. We go that far.
We go that far.
But people do have the keys.
Speaking of keys, what's the key to getting into Dreamforce with a $100 discount? That was not bad. Not bad at all.
That wasn't that bad. The key is to, when registering, use this promo code D13MVPREF. Last we checked, it was over $1,000 to register for Dreamforce.
Yes.
So
Register
every
now.
$100 counts towards, proving that ROI, proving why you need to go. So add this promo code D13MVPREF.
So as I talk to clients lately, I've been asking, are you going to Dreamforce? And there's some who I always think are going to go, and they're like, nah, I'm not going this year, or I'm not going. And then there's some who I just never think in the world are going to go, and they're like, yeah, we're going. I'm like, great, can't wait. That'll be fun. Can't wait to see it.
125,000 people have to come from somewhere.
We definitely have to do we always do.
I'm doing a head count. That's it.
No.
I'm counting everybody.
We do lots of stuff around Dreamforce, lots of podcasting. But we should do maybe a Dreamforce postmortem next year. I guess we do that. All right, we'll do it anyway. All right.
We always do that.
Stuff we're going to do today, though, as we talk.
We sit on the beanbag chairs.
Oh, that's true. That's true, we do. So we have the blog post of the week, which we'll go over. We have the uproar over the fee hike for AppExchange security review. This is you're gonna have to have something better after that, because I think half the people are going to go, what? The fee hike on the whatever? But
Well,
we'll talk
we'll
about
explain it.
Okay. We have some Redbox news, Verizon Redbox, kind of interesting. And then I was going to lay out the upcoming couple weeks, as we talked about last week, but then you told me not to. But I believe in giving our audience the truth.
You do what you got to do,
So then we'll make our CloudFocus app picks of the week. So let's get into it. What is this week's the best idea for a blog post ever was?
The pros and cons of using the Salesforce.com native calendar.
By the way, this could have been an entire episode. We could spend an entire...
We can spend
year talking about
an
this.
Entire hour on this one topic.
Well,
but I boiled it down.
Since you wrote it, and we haggled over it.
We did. We boiled down to a blog post. So back in 2010, when we started Arkus, we made some decisions around technology that we were using. We were obviously going to use Salesforce. And then we said, well, we're going to use Gmail or Google Apps for mail and calendar. And at the time,
Wave.
Not much else. But then Wave came around. We started using that. And then we
we used sites to start.
For an intranet to document stuff. But, we've grown from there. But we still use Salesforce.com, obviously, today. And we still use Google Apps for our mail and calendar, amongst other things. And we had a lot of back and forth. Like, what calendar should we use? There's one in Salesforce. There's one in Google. They can be synced together. Which one should be the master? And we, at the end of the day, landed on Salesforce.com, which is very weird because I don't feel like anyone else does that.
You say this, but people do.
I want to hear from people. So go to this blog post, pros and cons of using the Salesforce.com native calendar at arkusinc.com/blog, and leave some comments in the discuss. I want to know who else is using the native calendar as their main calendar.
Well, I think that it's fine to say
work calendar.
That's even not the distinction I want. The distinction I want is using it as the originator, meaning that you invite people from it. Because using it as a main calendar is fine.
We use it as our main calendar to send invites to each other, because everyone at Arkus has a Salesforce account, and also to
Wall-to-wall
our clients,
Salesforce.
right?
Yes.
So our clients, when they get a meeting invite from one of us, it is a Salesforce meeting invitation. And I'm not sure how many of those people see.
So you listed out the pros and cons.
I did.
I will say the first thing to say is that obviously for us, although your cons look lower than you look, just off the top of my head, they look bigger than your pros.
Yes.
We think that the pros outweigh the cons, because while there are limitations, and some of them are big limitations,
that's why the con list is longer.
It's more of like a prodding to the product group to be like, come on, guys. Some of this stuff is like...
It's a calendar,
basic.
Guys.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do some stuff. But give me like... we could do pro con, but why don't you give me one of your cons and then...
One of my cons?
Yeah.
The biggest con that I have is...
And not wait, not this con. Con!
No,
not that con.
That
all
one.
right, all right.
And I even get that reference.
Really? You do not?
I do. I said
you
I
do.
even
All
get
right.
that reference. I mean, my biggest con, which I wrote in the post, is the lack of time and attention paid to the calendar by the product team. But if I were to pick a feature of the product to make into a con, I would say the invitation itself does not include the file, the ICS file, I think is the format, that allows it to be put or placed directly into other calendar applications, particularly Outlook, which a lot of the world is using.
But let's just say that's
Google Calendar.
So that's actually two different programs working together. The ICS doesn't actually go to the calendar unless the email program that it's going to knows to do with it. Now, Outlook, Mail, Google, which I think those three alone cover probably 85% of all calendars on the planet. And I'm sure Thunderbird and whatever, you went down the others. They know that when you get this thing that has this extension, that you then send it programmatically over to the calendar,
or at least let someone open it, and it opens in the calendar, because that's all that. Because Salesforce, just to explain for those who've never gotten an invitation from,
if you want, I'll send you one.
Salesforce. Well, yeah, sure, we'll send you. You get an email that has a link to click to accept the invitation. So you click the link. You've now accepted the invitation.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, though, you still don't have the file or the meeting on your calendar. You have to click a button to then download. It says download to Outlook.
Right.
Even if you're not using Outlook, you have to download this file, which then goes into your calendar application.
Right.
So, I mean, my biggest con is that file that needs to be downloaded isn't just part of the flow of accepting. You have to click an extra button, and I've had people miss meetings on me.
No, I would say one of the reasons that we use it, and the reason the pros are because we have done a lot to basically customize it. We've written, I don't know, 2 or 3 programs around it, or applications, or
2.
Apex. I think even 3 if you think about the other one from the projects. Like creating them from...
we did that. We did
meeting invite.
Yeah, we did a couple.
Plus, we use terminology, so when we send them out, we actually put in the body. I have it in my sort of text expander. Please make sure to click on the button to accept. And I will say, the amount of people who forget it is very, very little now. I send out our meetings episode, I probably send out 5, 6, 7 meeting invites a week, and very infrequently do people not get that. It's usually the first time. So like anything, it's like the first time they expect it to work like it works in every other calendaring app. And I think that's our main point. It's like, why doesn't it work like every other? The technology behind sending that little ICS is not huge.
That's just one con. I mean, there's
but that's the big one.
That's the big one.
That's the big one.
Well, that's one of the big ones. The other big one is for those of you who have ever sent out a meeting request from Outlook or Google Calendar. If you sent one to me and I accepted it or denied it, you would get an email notification telling you that I accepted it or denied it. And oftentimes in the beginning, we wouldn't realize that someone actually rejected a meeting.
Right, declined it.
And because you didn't get an email. Right. So we've written some custom stuff to make that happen. But that's like, come on, that's Calendar 101 stuff.
Right. And know that custom stuff isn't just, don't, for you Salesforce admins, why can't you just put a workflow rule on, but what? Nope.
No.
We had to write a batch job that goes through once an hour and literally notifies all the ones that have been accepted in that hour and then sends an email to the person. It's kind of nice when we made it work, so it sends an email from the person who accepted it. Therefore, you can actually respond to that right back to the person if you want, whatever. But the main pro for us is, it is our tool. It is the tool, is Salesforce. And the ability to track activities, meetings, whatever, to either sales activities or track them to lead activities or track them to projects is so much more important than little, sort of features that's why we stick with it. So anyway, it is a topic that I implore if you are at Salesforce, if you are listening, I know you are. Some of you, put us in contact with that person, find them, release them from whatever dungeon you've stuck them in for the last 5 years, and let us have a conversation with them to help them out, because it just needs like 4 tweaks, and it could be great, and it could be a standalone by itself. All right, next up is more complaints. So tell me about this. I haven't heard this.
You haven't heard about this.
All right, tell me about this.
Yeah, so just the other day, it might have even been yesterday or the day before, conversation started happening around the internet, and I got brought to my attention that all of a sudden, for those of you who are out there who don't know the AppExchange or the AppExchange process, if you are a ISV or a seller of applications that sit on top of the Force.com platform for a fee, if you charge $1 for your application, you have to pay Salesforce to put your application through security review to actually make it live on the AppExchange.
Right.
So if you have a free app, you still have to go through the security review. They still want to review your application for security, especially if you're calling out to third parties, if you're integrating with anything through the application, even if it's just a totally on platform, no data is moving anywhere, they still need to go through the security review and run it through a scanner and make sure that everything is as it should be.
Well, and if you're a Salesforce user, this is a great thing.
Yes,
like, not the money. The money thing is, I think, what the developers or the ISVs are complaining about. But as a Salesforce user, you want that stuff to go through security, because you want to make sure. I mean, you're literally installing something inside your org that can do a ton of stuff, and you want to make sure it's doing what you said, and it's not doing anything malicious, like take all your contact data and pipe it off to Russia for
right.
New email program is real good, and you install it and
right. So the fee so the security review process, it's people have complained about that because it takes a while. It takes Well,
now you pay for it, so it'll take longer.
2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Well, you've always paid for it. You've paid $300 for it if you were charging a fee for your application.
Right.
If your application was free, like the permissioner, then
or Compliance
Locker, then security review is free as well.
AppExchange brag.
Right. Those were free, but they took a while to go through the security review because you get put into a queue and then they go through it, and the tools that they give you to do your own security review are not the same tools that they use to do their security review. So you can only go so far. So that was $300. There was like a no guaranteed turnaround time. It wasn't like I put it up today, when are you going to get back to me? It's like when we get to it. So it's going to go up starting, I think, September to $2,700, which is I don't know the percentage, but a lot of percentage increase. $300 to $2,700.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's why I'm totally okay with this.
Well, let me just continue.
No. Yes.
Right,
okay,
fine,
go ahead.
Forget it.
All right, do you want me to go?
No, go ahead.
All right.
I'm done.
You're done? Well, you said you were going to say something
really
really
important.
important.
I was going to say, there's the reason behind it is a good reason. It's the reason why it takes so long is because we're just charging you a measly $300 to do this thing, and it takes a while. But if we're going to charge $2,700, we can actually build up some infrastructure and reinvest that money into making this a more seamless process. So for me, it's like, okay, it hurts people who are selling their app for $1, like $1 per org. Because I know of, we even talked about the first $1 AppExchange app. So that person's like, well,
I'm not doing this.
Now I've got to get 2,700 installs
to break
even on just the security review. Forget what it costs to build the application.
Right.
So in that case, I see where that hurts. But for big apps, it's like, okay, this is good because it should increase the efficiency of the people who are in charge of doing these security reviews.
I don't think they did it for that reason. I think that's the excuse
That's
that
fine.
Salesforce writes it out for. I think it's to cull the herd, because
That could be too.
Honestly, to someone to write a $1 app, it's kind of like, why not make that a free app? Like, because even at $300, you're going to get 300 people to install your $1 app. I mean, I know how hard it is to get people to install free apps. To install a $1 app, I think it's to cull the herd a little bit. It's to put a little bar and to say, you got to jump over the bar. And if you're not ready to jump over this bar, then you really shouldn't be in the pay app business. Meaning, it takes a lot of money to support these products, to run a support program, to put out good documentation, to build good marketing pieces, and all of that. If you're willing to hire 2 people or 3 people to support your product, right, then $2,700 really, I mean, you're talking about hiring, FTEs, $2,700 is a drop in the bucket to the amount of money you're actually putting in to develop a full working class app. So I think it's creating it's just raising up the bar and saying, yeah, we love all the apps. Now we have over 10,000 apps or whatever it is. I think we rather have someone who's willing, that's not the indicator of whether they're going to be on the AppExchange or not.
How many apps did you just say?
10,000? Wasn't it? It was 1,000.
It's like 1,800.
Oh, okay.
The article was like, as of Friday, like today, there's about 1,800 apps.
So it was over 1,000. So I know they went over one of these numbers. I just think it's just saying, hey, listen, if you're thinking about it, you're like, ooh, should I go free or should I not go free? This might push you one way or the other. And if you really don't have a good marketing plan, if you're really not going to do real support, don't be charging $9 or something. Or don't be in this market, right? I think they want to be in the higher end market. They don't want a lot of the freemium stuff that, the Google App Store and I mean, Apple is $99. $99 to get an AppExchange, to get a developer license, $99. And that's it. You're all in for $100.
And you need a Mac.
Oh, you could rent a Mac. You could go to a store. You just need everything else is free. Like, they give you the developer tools for free. Everything else is free. So it's literally $99 to get listed and to build an app and to put it up into the App Store. They have a security review process too, and it costs $0. And so many times as you put it in. But what do you get in the App Store? And they wanted millions and trillions of apps, and they have them now. And is there a sort of an overlay of really bad apps and free stuff and stuff that's sort of like, really, like, we need 17 fart apps?
I need a flashlight.
How many 17? So I think this is their way of saying, we don't really, quantity at this point is less important than quality. So I think this is the underlying way of saying, I'm raising the bar a little bit, and I'm hoping that some of these guys, and not the guy, the guy who did the 90, I think it was a cool app. I forgot what it was. But
Ring my bell.
Yeah, $1
little plug
app
there.
But it, again, I don't think they want to be, Salesforce doesn't want to be in that business where they have $1 apps. I think because they also don't make the cut on the apps, right? So I think or maybe they do. I don't know. It depends if they're value reselling. So I kind of get it. It's a little bit big. I get it. But from a, just as a user.
It's just a big hike. A one-time hike. Like, if it was a gradual hike and they said, all right, over the next 2 years, we're going to go from 300 to 2,700. Right. Not just on one day, a month from now, we're going to go from 300 to 2,700.
Get your thing in the queue right now.
That is the thing. Even if it's not ready, get it in the queue, because I think you're grandfathered in. So even if it's not ready, just get her in there.
One line of code.
Yeah. Here's my
Hello World
Force page.
Hello World. $300.
Here's my app.
All right. Moving on, a nice little story, because we were talking the other week. We love our streaming TV.
We love streaming anything.
And we talk about streaming anything, and I think everybody loves that we talk about. Maybe you hate that we talk about streaming anything. But and we've been talking about the Roku sort of being Eat a Roku, which is a sort of Apple TV competitor. We've talked about the Chromecast. We've talked about, we kind of go into this. But so here's new news on the sort of streaming. Verizon Redbox, well, it used to be just Redbox, which has a streaming service. I think it's the same $7.99, whatever. It's
Is this a new streaming service, or has this actually existed?
Oh, it's been around, but it's now.
How did you get to it? Did you have to have one of those smart TVs or something? Because I don't know of a device that even had this. Like this Redbox streaming thing.
I don't know where.
No, Verizon released the service in December as a private beta.
Oh, so it's been around.
So there you have it. Yeah. As a private beta since December, so it hasn't really been around. For those who've never heard of Redbox Instant, that's because it's been released as a private beta since December.
Well, it's now available on Roku.
Great.
For, I don't know what they're saying the price is, but
$8, $9.
The interesting news is that it's the only real competitor to Netflix. It's the U.S. direct competitor. 'Cause Netflix doesn't have really competition in this market.
Hulu Plus a little bit, but not really, because there's commercials.
And they're not even competing because there's not. You can't get the same content.
Yeah, it's different content.
It's literally. I have both, and I don't think there's any content.
There's the Amazon Instant Player.
That
one competes a bit. They have the same content on there.
I don't even think they overlap a ton. I see a lot of stuff that's on one that's not on the other.
I feel like they overlap.
Overlap some, but
they have different market too, because you can buy stuff on Amazon.
You can't stream. You cannot sign up for a $9 a month streaming only account. You can buy.
You have to buy
Amazon Prime,
but
which
it's basically it's less than $9 a month.
But their content is as deep as Netflix.
No.
So anyway, I think it's great. Listen, more competition in the market.
Bring it. And this looks like you can buy and rent, so it's also different from Netflix in that way. Netflix, there's no buying, there's no renting. You get what you get. It's there, it's not. It's free. You play it and it plays. This looks like it's going to have more than just that. So you'll have like instant stuff to rent and buy. Does it have free stuff? I'm asking you. You threw this stuff on.
Don't know. I'm going to go. I'm going to.
I'll put the channel on my Roku. You don't have to buy the channel.
5,500 active digital movies instantly.
Yeah, instantly doesn't mean free.
So
Redbox was always like, go to the thing and pay
with
for
this
the
app, you
thing.
can then go pick the thing you want and go grab it. So you go, I want that movie.
I don't even know where there is a Redbox.
There used to be one right around the block from us. It's gone.
That was a Blockbuster one.
Wasn't a Redbox first?
And it was Blockbuster.
No. Anyway, I kind of like it. I like the streaming world. And this leads into, I really just put this on just to get us into our conversation. In one of the next 2 episodes, which may or may not be recorded in the same week because we may or may not be traveling the week after. So I'm not promising, but it may or may not happen within close to each other. We are going to do a streaming TV only episode.
Top 10 TV shows you can stream.
Yes.
And we can't overlap, which means we're going to be giving 20 TV shows?
No, we can overlap.
We can overlap?
Yeah. I think we'll have enough difference that I will be picking things that whatever.
Because, I know my top 5 TV shows of all time.
Has to be streamable,
and they
though.
can all be streamed.
Okay. So I guess let's set the parameters. Streaming means I can purchase it and stream it?
Purchase it and
meaning
stream
Apple
it?
TV?
Or stream it for free on Netflix or on HBO Go or any other streaming platform that you have.
Okay, so Amazon
Stream means turn the TV on, hook up to some service, and it's coming off the internet.
Okay, does not mean TiVoing something.
No,
it can't be anything sort of like
not on demand.
Okay, because most TV now is available on Apple TV too. Like, you can go buy an episode of Breaking Bad, the one that came out last week, right now, and buy it and watch it and stream it.
If there was an episode that came out last week.
Right, whatever. It's coming out this week then. I don't care. I'm set to TiVo it. All right, so we'll do that for one of the 2 episodes next week.
Of Breaking Bad's final season.
Well, I think we talk about it a lot, and people, I think, will be interested to hear what we have to say.
Sure.
So we should make sure it doesn't overlap, or no?
We can.
No, I think
we can just agree on them.
No, we'll do top. We'll do top 10. We'll go from 10 to 1.
Okay.
And we'll say, my 10 is your 10, and then maybe we'll have 10s or 5s that are mixed.
All right.
But we'll do top, and then reason why.
Great.
Can't wait. I know we have some differences. All right. Speaking of differences, let's get to our CloudFocus app pick of the week.
Oh, let me get out my phone. All right. So I think you've picked this.
Yes.
In the past. But
how unlike you to pick something I've already picked.
But you picked it back when it was just a website. I'm picking it now that it's a mobile app.
Okay.
And it's If This Then That. Mobile.
I feel like you picked this, but you didn't pick it. You wrote it down, and then I totally picked something else.
We picked something else because it was part of the paperless episode. So I decided to go with something more paperless. But If This Then That mobile. So their whole thing is like, let the web do stuff for you, right? Like if I do something on the web, right, or do something on the internet, let it do something else for me. So an example is, if I take, I'm going to use a mobile example, but I want to use a web example first. So, if
someone follows me on Twitter, send a thank you DM to them
like
every
that,
time.
Right.
I had that one going for many months.
So the mobile version allows you to really tap into the core OS features of, I'm using it on the iPhone.
So give me something that you use it for.
So it can SMS you things around news alerts. So I get news alerts for whenever the Jets are mentioned on ESPN, like a big thing happens, right? You can have if I check off that I did, you can keep like a completed task list. So if you use reminders on your iPhone, you can say every time I complete one of my reminders, just write it to an Evernote note.
Okay.
So that I have a list of all the things I've ever done.
Right.
Put all my contacts into a Google Sheet.
Okay.
Contacts from the phone.
Right, like a backup.
So, yeah, like a backup, exactly. There's all sorts of fun things that you can do with the phone, right? Back up my contacts to a spreadsheet, back them up to Evernote, all sorts of, like, if I take a photo, save it to my Dropbox. Things of that nature. So it really uses the power of like the OS level stuff. And there's a nice, you don't have to build these yourself because there's a browsable recipes that you can use to just hook them up. You say, I want to use this one, boom, click, go, and it works. It works really well. So I've done a few of them, and I find that it's a fun little like set it and forget it type of thing. Be careful though, because you might forget, like, why is this happening? Oh, because I put it in my IFTTT mobile. So that's the name of the company, IFTTT, if this then that. And this is if this then that mobile, which is free.
So here's an example of an if this then that might just turn extremely geeky. And if I do this, you can't say anything because this is like something I was thinking about doing. So there's and I might pick this if I buy it. So if I buy it, I'll tell you. But there's Philips makes these light bulbs, these LED light bulbs that are called Hue.
You talked to us about these.
Nope.
These are different light bulbs.
Yep, they're called Hue.
Okay.
And they're controllable. They have a full spectrum in them of color, and they're controllable from your iPhone. So you can control the color that comes out of them from your iPhone. So you can go and say, you can literally take a picture of something and say, I want this color, and it'll turn all the lights to that color. That's kind of cool, and it works on your Wi-Fi, blah, blah, blah. They just put out a light strip that does the same thing, 8-foot light strip. You hook it into the system. You can then, from your iPhone, you can turn on the light strip, change the color of the light strip, change the whatever. I was then thinking, and I know you can hook up the Hue to if this, then that. I was then thinking, for where I watch TV and where I watch the Jets, oh my goodness, wouldn't it be fun if every time the Jets scored a touchdown, the light strip above my TV goes green, green, green,
that would be a lot of fun.
green.
I was just going to say, maybe like, because you can also do like, every time I check into my apartment,
yes,
turn the lights on.
Yes.
Stuff like
you can
that.
do all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm investigating that for this product called, which I'm not picking today, but it's called...
I want that to happen.
I think that might be my upgrade to the command center this year. So anyway, all right, my pick is actually something that I sponsored on Indiegogo over about 4 or 5 months ago. I might have talked about it at the time. I don't know, but anyway. So I have been looking at. We've had people wear the Fitbits, the Nike Fuel Band. I think there's another one by. Someone else makes one of these fitness wearables, right? So there's a whole new market where you take a device and you put it on your body somewhere, and then it monitors what you do throughout the day. Because there's a whole theory around if you do I think it's 10,000 or 1,000 steps during the day, it's supposed to be keeping your activity level and you're supposed to be more healthy. So I looked at them and I like the ones you wear on your wrist and whatever. And I thought, I don't want to always wear it on my wrist, or I don't want to whatever. I want something that's like inconspicuous that I can kind of whatever. So then these people came up in Indiegogo. I sponsored it. It was called The Shine by Misfit Wearables. And I got mine last week. And what it is, and it's actually been hitting the news. I've been reading all about it. Like all the people are coming out with the reviews. It's a little device that looks like 2 quarters stacked together in terms of size.
Looks like a little like macaroon like sandwich.
Yeah, it's tiny.
Those
like,
little cookies.
I think the size of 2 quarters, right?
All right.
It's sort of soft or whatever. But the thing is that on the top of it has a whole bunch of LED lights,
Yep.
right? That
Double
light
tap.
up, and
Double
then
tap.
it'll tell the time. And then it basically has 3 whatever those things are called, the motion detectors. What are they called?
Sensors?
No, they're accelerometers. 3
Oh.
accelerometers in it that track, and has a battery, but it's water resistant, so not proof. You can't go 100 feet underwater. Water resistant, you can wear it, shower, swimming, whatever. And it's a little device. And one of the reasons I liked it originally when I saw it was a couple things. One is it doesn't keep syncing with your phone. It doesn't always connect with your phone. I don't want something always connect to my phone because I'm worried that, it always drains your phone to be constantly talking to it.
Right.
So what you do is, if you want to sync it with your phone, you start up this
This
program.
is pretty cool. I've watched you do it. It's very futuristic.
So you take the Shine, you put it on top of your phone somewhere, and it actually tells you where to do it. And then it actually communicates with the Shine. I think maybe you have to tap it. There you go. And then it communicates with the Shine, I think it's audio waves.
It's through
something
osmosis.
Crazy. Osmosis. It's not Bluetooth.
Yeah.
And then it communicates with it.
It's through magic.
But what's nice is it's not connecting all the time, because you really only need to do it once or twice a day, and then it takes the data and puts it that way.
Or whenever you want.
Or whenever you want.
Does it put it into an app that you can look at somewhere else? Yeah, but I know it's on your phone, but can I get to that data somewhere else?
No, I don't think it does. It doesn't move anywhere
just
there yet.
on the phone.
It's on the phone. You can
not
see
on the web or some other
just
place.
On the phone.
Okay.
But what's also nice about it is that, again, tiny. You can put it in your pocket. You can put it.
I've seen you wear it.
I wear it.
You have a watch-looking band.
Right. It actually tells the time. It'll tell the time for the LED lights. Anyway, it's called Shine. It's by Misfit Wearables.
Like it.
I've had it for about a week now.
I would never do it because I'd be ashamed. It'd be like,
your
you need to do more
points.
activities.
Well, I'll tell you, it's interesting, and I'm more of just sort of tracking it. My favorite part about it is that, if I go out, or if I'm whatever, I don't have to wear it. I'm wearing it today because I'm in the office. I don't care. But I could stick it in my pocket and it'll work.
Right.
Or
it doesn't have to be on your wrist.
No.
It can be anywhere.
It can be anywhere. And it comes with devices that'll stick, so you can put it on your shoe.
That's
you can put it on
nice.
your whatever. So anyway, I like it. It's gotten a lot of reviews. And and it lasts 4 months on the battery. It's a little button battery in there, so they're not trying to recreate the wheel. So it's cool. So it's called Shine by Misfit Wearables. I think you can order them now.
Cool.
I'm testing it and might know about it later, or maybe I was going to write up do a review of it, because I think we did a
Fitbit review.
Yeah, maybe I'll do a Shine review. Speaking of reviews, why don't you go to iTunes and subscribe to the podcast and leave us a review there. You can also follow Justin here at Just Edelstein on Twitter. I'm at Jason M. Atwood, Arkus Inc. Facebook.com, Arkus Inc. We're on the Dreamforce portal. We're in the Success Community Group. If you are in success, you want to be successful, come to the Success portal and go to search for CloudFocus Weekly. We're in there. I posted a poll there the other day in the Success Community Group.
Oh, yeah?
Asking
How'd it go?
what favorite, I have to go back and look, I haven't seen it, what your favorite topics were in the podcast. So go vote in that. Go vote.
I want to know.
Yeah, me too.
Join the group.
We're on LinkedIn, Google+, talk about iTunes, and we'll be back next week with possibly more than one episode. I know you don't like that I'm telling this.
Spread that out.
Right. Well, I'm saying we might publish one and then publish another one.
Well, that's the
right.
thing, yeah.
But we tell in the beginning of the podcast when it is, so it's if we record it next week.
Oh,
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. You can't really keep it that much of a secret.
Some other week.
All right. Until then, we'll be back. And as always, enjoy those cloudy days.